I believe that the reason God created man was for management.
Really? I have never heard it put that way.
The first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself.
God will never allow growth where there is no management.
Wow, wow, wow.
So instead of praying for things from God, pray for the management ability.
Everything I tell you is true. Everything I open my mouth and I say is correct because heaven directs me on what to say. Eligwe, Zemos in Zendidendo. Heaven will tell me and I will tell you it will come to pass in front of your eyes. Not behind you, you will see it happening.
God will withhold things from you if you cannot manage them.
When you look at the facts that something around 1 million people perished as a result of the actions of the British and Russian and Nigerian federal governments.
Vis-a-vis what we see in Nigeria, which is truly not, it should not be surprising. Look, what's happening in Nigeria is barbarous. It's horrible. I mean, it's complete madness, yet it's not a priority. The United States unilaterally could do almost anything it needs to do. It would be a long-term effort, but it could be done. And the United States has the capability. All the elements of power, we have those.
So why not?
It's not a priority. That's the problem. We are committed elsewhere in the world. Black West Africa is not a priority.
Anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing, that is not a man who can lead a nation.
Excuse me. They can't tell me. No way. When the time comes, it's okay. What stupid country is really? So when it's just you tell somebody's secret, when you like, you find secret. When you like, it's in public. What stupid country is that? What stupid country is that, I ask you? When you like, you try and when you like to try in private, they are killing my people. 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 After killing my people, you tell me to tell the secret? The person is mad. Completely mad. Tell Buhari, that's what I said. That he is mad. He cannot tell me. He cannot tell me. He's a madman. There's a contempt of court proceedings here. Contempt of court. They don't obey court order. They don't obey court order. You're telling me secret trial. Is the person mad?
I, Nnamdi Kanu, will sacrifice anything sacrificable to make sure that Biafra comes.
We hereby declare no election, no 2023 general election in Biafra land. This no election in Biafra land has been activated. We are going to make it a task that must be done by every Biafran. All measures will be put in place to make sure the adequate civil disobedience is implemented to stop the election in Biafra land.
the meaning of discovery? It means to bring to light something that is buried on the ground. If you can accept that, then you know that Biafra is coming. There is nothing man can do about it. It's too late. Way, way too late. The countdown has begun.
Hello, everyone. Good day to you wherever you are. I had to come your way again this evening, or this afternoon, or this morning, or this night, wherever you are. It is very, very important that we need to talk about this. Hello. Yes. I don't know what is wrong with my network, but I want to appreciate those who have stayed and waited for me. Thank you all for joining. This night, I had to come this night or afternoon or morning, wherever you are, to actually talk about this precarious situation we have found ourselves. And we're having some feedbacks that are not really, really encouraging and very, 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 very painful and annoying. And we just want to, we have to, because you see, we have allowed ourselves to be food for so long, and we've allowed ourselves to be in kind of neglecting some basic things. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is critically in the hands of the DSS, and we are here. We are here all over the place, thinking of ourselves, talking about ourselves, you know, desiring for what we want to achieve for ourselves and all of that. Now, if you remember some weeks ago, I came here and of course, I had some guests and we were talking about Frontage Page TV says God's plan is bigger than that of the enemies. Against MNK, Simon Ekpa will not succeed on his plans with federal government against MNK. Thank you so much, Front Page TV. Now, you see, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's life is in danger. In fact, we don't know what is happening to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu right now. Every Biafran must be very, very concerned. Unless we have become very evil, very heartless, we have become very, very so that this man, I've been in the DSS dungeon for 2 years now, almost 2 years now, and we are not saying anything about it. We're not doing anything about it. We're just quiet. We're just, conducting jamborees everywhere. Simon is busy enthroning himself as prime minister. People are just, I don't know what is going wrong, but Biafrans, this is in our hands right now. Now, let me give you this analysis. About 3 weeks ago, I came here, and some of the people who came here with me also, we talked about an intel that we have, that there's a plan to poison Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Now, that plan was given to us by somebody very, very close, somebody who knows about what is going on with the autopilot crew of Simon. And that person is strongly in the, the cabinet of Simon. We got that intel that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's life is in danger because they are planning to use his doctor. If you remember the broadcast we made, we stated it clearly here. They are planning to use the doctor that is attending to him always to poison him and to eliminate him. We gave that intel here, and some of us just looked at it. Nobody talked about it. All you were here doing was to tell us how, Simon is your savior, how you are going to continue to do, support him, how he is this, how is the new prime. And then you have not even talked about prime minister. We gave this intel. Now, this intel we gave you came, and not long after we gave that intel, somebody came and made a broadcast. And I'm going to try to get all of these details so that I can produce the evidences. I'm just giving you a quick, analysis tonight, and we're going to go into details by proving the evidences. That person gave a broadcast, and all of you know this. That person came and said that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said. Remember, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu had, has been in the custody of DSS for all these months, close to 2 years now. And everything Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, everything he was purported to have said that Ejiofor was bringing out, Simon was rejecting them. He was saying, we cannot listen to anybody from DSS. Of course, it's not possible for us to listen to any instruction from the DSS because we know that it will be corrupted. We are not sure if it is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu saying them or not. Ejiofor came with so many information telling you Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said this, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's son said that. And it was given us information. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu talked about DOS. We should, they are the ones he trusts, Ejiofor we trust, and all of that. We didn't take it. Simon will come sometimes and talk about them and say, we will not take instruction from them DOS. Suddenly, in fact, about a few weeks ago, somebody brought an information from the DSS, from the DSS custody, saying Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said some things about the DOS. Simon came and rebuffed it. and said, we are not going to listen to anything from the DSS dungeon, anything that comes from the DSS dungeon. And then suddenly, somebody comes with an information and said that Mazi Nnamdi is happy with Simon's program and what he is doing. Simon quickly published it because that information suits his narrative, because that information suits what he believes, suits his ego. He took it. He didn't say he's not going to take anything from DOSS custody or DSS dungeon. He didn't say that. He accepted that narrative and said, yes, this is it. He published it. Someone now came and did a broadcast and said that Mazi Nnamdi said that nobody else should care about him. Nobody should care about him anymore. That everybody should be concerned about protecting Simon Ekpa. That person critically said that Mazi Nnamdi said people should just forget about him, that his own interest is that Simon Ekpa should be protected. Now that brought about a disturbing, mindset to me, because I was so disturbed, because for them to bring such kind of narrative, they are trying to test the ground to see how Biafrans will react, because these people have evil agenda. Now remember, before this kind of message came out, we already had a message that Mazi Nnamdi they were planning to poison him. And then somebody now comes out and tells us that Simon and Mazi Nnamdi said we should protect Simon. Simon should be protected. Now, the common thing that anybody should think about is this: why should Mazi Nnamdi say that everybody should forget him and just protect Simon? Why would Mazi Nnamdi say such kind of things? How can such kind of thing come out of the DSS dungeon and Simon will grab it and accept it and does not debunk it? Which means the life of Mazi Nnamdi is not important to him. The life of Mazi Nnamdi is not important to any of his followers. Even if, let's just assume that Mazi Nnamdi said so. If I were in his shoes, I would say, no, Mazi Nnamdi, you can't say so. We are concerned about you too. And in fact, that is when Simon should now take action that Mazi Nnamdi must be released. Now, let me remind you, I'll bring evidences in next broadcast. Mazi Nnamdi has been in custody for almost 2 years now. Every time Simon comes on broadcast to give ultimatum to the government and says consequences and says this will happen, that will happen, oil installation will be, oil exploration will be stopped, they will engage the military, will do all of this stuff. He never carried out any of these things. He never did anything he said he was going to do. He never carried out those actions. Mazi Nnamdi continued to be in the DSS dungeon. And then he now begins to boast about what our men has. He now begins to boast about what we can do to the military. The military now becomes provoked, thinking that we are very armed. They send the people to our land and begin to kill our young men. Today, we have so many people who have been killed for the past almost 2 years now. I mean, that time Simon took over. From that time, people have been killed more by the military, direct attack on the military, than any other time in this movement. Other times it is maybe protest on the streets and all of that, and maybe the one that Peter Obi did. But direct attack on the communities, killing our young men, all of this have not happened in the scale it has happened from the boastings of Simon. From the boastings of Simon. None of these things have happened like this. Now, the boastings of Simon has caused the death of so many of our young men because he was bragging about what we don't have. Now, many of our men are dead. I'll bring this. I told you I was going to take this the issue of the crimes of Simon in series. I'm just giving you a step down here, to leading into what I want to say now. Now, that man comes up and tells us that Mazi Nnamdi said we should forget about him. Simon keeps quiet, Azuka keeps quiet, all of them keep quiet. That for the fact that Mazi Nnamdi is even in DSS dungeon should even worry anybody. not to talk about anybody coming to accept the fact that Mazi Nnamdi being in DSS custody for 2 years, is now saying that Simon should be protected. Nobody should care about him. That tells you, for those who have common sense, that something is happening on the ground. That should make you understand that something is playing out here. Remember, we had received the intel. Go back to my broadcast about 2-3 weeks ago. I made that. We talked about it here. In fact, I had guests here. I think Prince was here and others, and Pastor Maker also. We were here together, and some other. I think we were here. We were more. I said, and I made that revelation. Even last week, I still made the revelation. Yes, please, let's check it out. I still made the revelation that we have an intel that Mazi Nnamdi is going to be poisoned, because they are planning to poison him. And the people who are planning to poison him is Simon and Azuka, to protect their own interest. This is not propaganda. This is clear intel that we got. Now, after that, suddenly somebody comes up and tells us that Mazi Nnamdi says that nobody should care about him. Now, you see how they are building this thing up, building it up, trying to test how Biafrans are going to react, testing how we're going to react, testing how so much we are so connected. Now, remember, Simon had already destabilized Mazi Nnamdi structure. He first went and formed his militia, destroyed Mazi Nnamdi structure, and put up his own militia he is calling Biafra Liberation Army. Since last year, we got the intel that Simon was trying to change the name to Biafran Liberation Army, that he was building his own militia towards that. And that intel came when Success was discussing with somebody, that Mazi Nnamdi, that Simon is planning his own front for what he wants to do. Now, Simon and Azuka have succeeded in doing this. They have divided our men now in the camp here, as in the camp now as we're talking. The men, the Simon's men, Simon Azuka's men, are now armed by Simon. When they steal some of the money, they use some to buy some arms for their own militia. These ones now are going to kill some of our real men who are still very, very, very dedicated to Mazi Nnamdi. Very, very, very loyal to Mazi Nnamdi. He first went into ESN and destabilized ESN more than how Chinasa had destabilized it. He now came and did the final destabilization. Now today, the people, the camp, or the Biafra Liberation Army he calls, which are his militia men, they now take up arms against the other men who are dedicated to Mazi Nnamdi, led by Butuzo. These men from Simon are led by Butuzo, the same man, the same person who have been killing our men, the same person who killed Double Lion, Jaja, and other people. The same person Simon contracted. Now, for those of you who don't want to tell yourselves the truth, why is Butuzo Simon's general commander? Why is Butuzo Simon and Azuka's general commander? Ask yourself that question. Because when we are talking like this, you people take everything for granted. You people think we're just coming, we just want to fight Simon. We're not here to fight anybody. We're here to tell you the truth. We're here to reveal. That is why God put us here, as to make sure that we speak out. Because as we're talking right now, we cannot tell what has happened to Mazi Nnamdi. Now, but from what has transpired so far, you can tell and link what is happening to Mazi Nnamdi with Nigeria government and Simon. Because now, as we talk to you, Simon is funded by the Nigeria government through Ngozi Rabueze and other people who are behind her. How else do you know that Simon is being funded by Nigeria government? We brought evidences to Simon about how Ngozi is sponsoring Fulani, people from the north for this current election that just passed on the 25th and on the 18th. Simon never did anything about it. Rather, he used that lady to begin to insult even the people who are bringing the information to him. He kept the lady in the advisory board. The lady is privy to sensitive information, which of course the sensitive information are just his nonchalance and his constituting nuisance everywhere. Now, Simon decides to keep a Nigeria agent in his cabinet. What does that tell you as a reasonable person? Let's be reasonable. What does that tell you as someone who is reasonable? Because I can't imagine that I am fighting my enemy and my enemy's man is in my cabinet, listening to all my conversation, planning with me, telling me what to do, and carrying out Biafra recruitment and all of that. My enemy's man, my enemy's eye. That is. I don't know the kind of Biafra we want to build for ourselves. For God's sake, oh Lord, have mercy on Biafrans. That we see things like this and we ignore, and because of our sentiments and emotional disposition, we want to build for ourselves a background that will destroy us. Now look at how it came. We got that intel. Simon first was destabilizing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's structure. Simon now begin to discredit the same Biafra government in exile, which he said was erected by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, which he said he wants to activate. But he now began to discredit them, but kept telling you that there's a Biafra government in exile, there's a president, he's going to come talk to you very soon. But yet he came with another side, bringing pictures, discrediting them, making you look, just see them as nothing, and making you believe that there is a particular government in exile that is going to come up very soon and to talk to you. He gave you that image and that picture, and he was posting the picture and discrediting the Biafra government in exile. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu knows. You saw Nnamdi today on my broadcast just about a few hours ago. He was rubbishing these people, but he was telling you that there is a particular Biafra government in exile erected, and that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu knows. He was still rubbishing these same people. Who are those people he was trying to make you believe that they are? It was his own program, which he is now the prime minister. So he was discrediting the other ones. I showed you the picture of the other one, where he put them on screen and told you that they are criminals. Simon calling people criminals. We are not good. He thinks we are those illiterates that he calls criminals, and they just go and sit down. We're not that. That level. We'll come to that level. We're going to drag it legally. Look at it. He was discrediting them, telling you that they are fake, that they are criminals and everything. Yet he was telling you about a Biafra government in exile that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu knows, that has a prime minister. He was telling you about that, but yet he was discrediting this same Biafra government in exile, which means that he was actually not talking about this one. He was talking about this one that he just fronted by telling you that he is the prime minister. He was informing you in advance that there is a Biafra government in exile coming. But that Biafra government in exile is actually him and Ngozi Rabozi and co, with those they just recruited from the recent recruitment program that I was part of. Now, after destabilizing ESN, the intel leaks. We get the intel before the time. Suddenly, somebody comes up and tells us that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu says we shouldn't care about him again, preparing the minds of Biafrans so that anything that happens to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who's, oh, this has happened, though. Okay, now since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu says we should forget about him, let us go and follow Simon. Let's just host, so that we will be able to water down the minds of Biafrans in case what they want to plan against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is executed. They wanted to water down the minds of Biafrans so that they will go and poison Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and then they will not say he has already told us before. That means he knew he was going to die. He knew he was going to die, so he said it before he died. He said that we should protect Simon. That is the narrative. The intel came to us. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is to be poisoned by the doctor taking care of him. And the plot is by these people, Simon and Azuka. That intel came to us. But we came to tell you here, we didn't mention their names. We just wanted to be calm. Now, after that, but we came to tell you, everybody, we told Simon, if anything happens to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we told him last week, 2 weeks ago, and we have been telling him because of that intel. Now, suddenly, somebody comes to tell us that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu says we shouldn't talk about him anymore. We should talk about Simon. We should protect Simon, which means he is just like what happened in the Bible days. When Jesus was crucified, he told his mother, mother, behold your son, son, behold your mother. That means don't care about him anymore. Just take care of yourselves. And son, take care of your mother. Mother, take care of your son. I'm dying. I'm going to die very soon. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is indirectly telling us that he's going to die. So we should take care of Simon. So that whenever anything happens to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, everybody will now say, oh, but Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said it before he died. So we should just, let's just move ahead. Let's just move forward. At least we have Simon. Simon is rugged. And let's move forward. So Mazi, please, we will not take this nonsense. Please, I was just giving narrative about this issue before you came in. Please, I would want you to take it up from there because I've talked a while, and then I'll round off with what I want to say later. Just take it up from here, please. What you have to say about this matter.
Thank you. This is a strong message to not only Biafrans, but Nigerians, the entire humanity. This is a strong message that we are not accepting this nonsense. It's an absolute nonsense. That the ploy by Nigerian authorities in cahoot with Simon to prepare Biafrans so that they can eliminate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because the indications are clear. Let it be known today, if you haven't known it before, that all these shenanigans by Simon Ekpa is stemming from the fact that he had been asked to sell a narrative to Biafrans, to believe in him, to see only him. Simon Ekpa that told Biafrans and the world that he will not and we will never accept anything, it doesn't matter what, that Nnamdi Kanu is in a place where he is being monitored, where there is that's been wired up, that even his own lawyer had made it clear that they can't speak to him in private, that we cannot take anything. When he says anything, he meant anything that comes from DSS or anyone saying that Nnamdi Kanu said that he will not, and we will never accept anything. The only time that we will listen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is when he is free from DSS. He made it clear. Suddenly, this criminal is now accepting something that came from DSS, claiming that Nnamdi Kanu is now saying that everybody should look up to him. It's like preparing you to accept any nonsense, preparing and projecting himself. And you can see the chain of events. Okay? Now, I want people to take their thinking cap and put it on and ask themselves this question. If there is nothing underhand going on, if this crazy boy called Simon, if he believed that Nnamdi Kanu will walk out alive, if he had any inclination, if he had not been promised that Nnamdi Kanu will not come out alive, or something is bound to happen to him there, you think he will come out to first of all tell you that he's an interim leader and went boldly to claim to be prime minister? Think about it. Think about it. Now we are saying it clearly and unequivocally that if anything happens, God forbid, to Nnamdi Kanu, as far as humanity is concerned, as far as Biafrans are concerned, okay, Nigeria and Simon Ekpa, okay, are going to be, as far as we are concerned, held responsible, because this is no longer a joke. This is no longer a joke.
Yes.
And it will never be a joke. Our eyes are on the ball. Our eyes are on the ball. Look at a criminal. How can he say one thing today and come and tell you another? That we should no longer take any information coming from Onyendu as far as he remains in that dungeon. So why is he taking this one and echoing it and asking you all to accept it? And since then, there's been a chain of events. Now we are hearing he's poisoned. Oh, hearing, oh, he's coughing. Oh, he's complaining of chest. Simon Ekpa, you don't even know what you're playing with. You don't know what you're playing with. You and your cohorts. You don't know what you're playing with. Just know it, that our eyes are on the ball. Don't play with Biafrans. Don't play with something that will consume you. Well, Nnamdi Kanu has warned all of you. If anything happens to Nnamdi Kanu, I'm pitying you all of you. All of you. That Nigeria that is going all of you mad, that Nigeria will consume all of you. All of you. So whatever silly games you're playing, you better run away from that nonsense. You better run away from the nonsense. Know it that we are not accepting it, and we will never accept it. Don't tamper with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You are warned. It's a warning. It's not a plea. It's a warning. It's a warning. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
Let's look at it now. An intel comes that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to be poisoned, and then suddenly somebody comes up and tells us that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is saying, after 2 years being in custody, is saying that we should forget about him. This comes after Simon have destabilized ESN, created his militia, which, if he believes that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is coming out, he would not have that guts.
No, impossible. Impossible. The signs are on the wall. The signs are clear. This is a childish game he is playing. A totally childish game. This guy is a non-entity. This guy is crazy. This guy is imbecilic in nature. This guy, who does he think he's playing with? Who does he think he's playing with? Does he really know what Biafra means? And does he really know the makeup of Biafrans? Or does he think it's all of these non-entities that are just hoo-haing and don't know their left from right? I don't think he understands what he's playing with. Honestly. So, like you said, they had to go from silly preparatory narratives, building up to the event.
Yes.
Building up to the event. Just gradually desensitizing you, gradually feeding you with silly nonsense. One moment, Nnamdi Kanu is no longer interested in himself. He has given up. He says it's you now that Simon Ekpa is the one that should be looked up to. Look at the monkey, total monkey. Now preparing you to look up to Simon. Don't forget that they plan to have their faces on the currency. Sure. These were all plots, okay? Yes. And then they're building up to then telling you, oh, being that he has said that we should all look up to, everybody should look up to Simon Ekpa. Suddenly, he's having chest pain.
Yes. He's
suddenly, vomiting. He's vomiting. Suddenly, Simon is the prime minister, the interim leader. Can't you, even if you're daft, even if you're dumb, can't you see this one is too obvious that these people are up to no good? These people are up to no good. So that's why we are warning them. Nothing untoward must happen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Whether you believe in your Nigeria or not, make sure nothing happens to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
Because Nigeria and Simon will pay for it. Nigeria and Simon. Not just Nigeria and Simon.
Simon is a huge culprit and a huge suspect. Okay, like I said to you, if If Simon had not received assurances, reassurances that this guy is not coming out alive, he won't have the balls.
That's it.
He won't. He was the one that criticized others when they tried to declare themselves interim leader. He wasn't stupid, because at that point he knew that he believed that Nnamdi Kanu would come out.
Yes.
So right now something has changed. Something gave him the balls. Something gave him the oomph. Something gave him the confidence to come and start selling silly, mad idiots narratives to Biafrans. I don't think he knows what he's doing. I don't think he understands it. He should go and tell his Nigerian authorities, he should go and give them back the money if he had collected money already. That this is nonsense, is not going to wash. It will never wash. Nothing must happen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is the bottom line. Nothing must happen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They need to release him, and release him quickly. He has to come out there alive.
If you look at that publication of that lawyer of yesterday, you see how he just took his time to just give a particular narrative. How Mazi Nnamdi Kanu became tired, he couldn't come, he had to rush and follow him to the toilet to. This is someone who is in DSS dungeon. Now he knows how to follow Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from where he was, because they always make us believe that they have a place where they meet him, a conference room where they meet him.
Don't mind. Even when you read further, the way he now disappeared from the whole scene because his time was up, the time he was allotted was up. It's all gimmicks. All those are gimmicks. Okay? I can't see a lawyer, an honest lawyer, seeing his client in that state and leaving him in that state just like that because time is up. It doesn't wash. It doesn't wash. It's all nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Which lawyer, no matter how hopeless, will be in even no matter what that place is, and your client is vomiting, your client is physically, and you can see it,
and getting weaker. He was making us believe that he was getting weaker.
And look at all those. And this was the same Simon who told you that you cannot take anything that is coming from DSS as gospel. I mean, the thing, liars will never know when they contradict themselves. Because liars are thieves. Liars would always contradict themselves. On one hand, we can't take anything that comes from there. Now, this one, everything that is coming from there now. Simon had become the spokesperson for DSS, and everything that is coming from DSS. He has become their spokesperson. He's now the eye of DSS. Now he's eye of federal government. Simon is now the eye of Fulani, the eye of evil against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and against true Biafrans. Simon, no longer a Jofo. Simon is the eye of federal Fulani government. Simon is the eye of DSS. Simon is the spokesperson of DSS. Everything that comes there now, as far as it fits the narrative of Simon, which he himself actually plot. All these things are plotted by him. So he works with Ngozi Orabueze, and they will cook up something, and then they will get somebody there, a lawyer, because all these people are being paid by this evil government. They are getting money from to play all these pranks. Okay? Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
How can the lawyer be able to follow Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Maybe let's just imagine that he has to go and vomit inside his cell or wherever. He follows him there to join him in the toilet or whatever. The way he put the story, that it was as if it was a sitting room. Everything was happening in the sitting room where there are rooms, there is a toilet, there is bathroom. He said he followed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu into that place and he was vomiting, went to hold him, blah, blah. Oh, Lord. And the DSS people allowed him to walk in when they have told us initially that they are not allowed to carry papers, carry anything, do anything. They are just there to see, and DSS will be observing them when they are discussing.
Yeah, Kelechi, the whole thing is a gimmick. Think about it. It doesn't, they couldn't even cook it up well. Okay, if you're going to play games with people's minds, plan it well and make it look a bit plausible, because it's not even plausible. Now, if you're a lawyer in that circumstances and you see your client vomiting, if that lawyer said that he approached one of the DSS officers and said, please come and see my client, he's not well. Yeah. If the narrative is such that this lawyer now, because of what he's seen and the sufferings of and then that he went and called the DSS and requested to see their boss or whatever, so they can see the situation of their client, and that he laid a complaint that he needs immediate care, immediate attention, and they refused. These are some of the details that will come, and it will look plausible.
Very well.
Okay, because it doesn't sit in at all that a lawyer saw his or her client in that state, and just because his time was up, he walked away. I mean, come on. Even if it's animal, okay, you notice an animal was now suffering, okay, and that is an animal in a zoo that you want to take care of. You want to call the vets in. You want to make sure that somebody other than yourself is seeing what you are seeing, and that person is also accountable, because they're not going to say you didn't tell them or you didn't show them. I read that thing and I couldn't stop. I thought I just did not want to laugh, because I know how serious and the evil intentions behind it. Otherwise, it would have been a laughable nonsense. The one of the most laughable nonsense I've ever read in my life.
That means it is one of the tricks to test the waters, to see how we're going to react, so that in case we just take it like that and we just accept, oh, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is dying. So Simon, he has already told he knew he was going to die, and so he's telling us that Simon is there, and so he's prophesying his death as he always prophesies. And so he wants us to listen to Simon. Now he's telling us to forget about him because he knows this is going to happen to him, and then now we have to listen. So when they now see that we are accepting that narrative, they go carry out their evil intentions, and then we'll now take it as what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has prophesied.
That is that juvenile thought. I told you that Simon is a little child in his brain. He thinks he's clever. Okay? Each time you try to catch him, he will either say to you he was led by the spirit, or Nelly poisoned him, or somebody played. He will always look for, or he will tell you he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
Oh, don't worry, it's all covered, because he can't choose as they come. He can't. So he looks for a quick one to make you think he knows what he's doing. This guy has a brain of a child, okay? All those nonsense you saw playing out with the lawyer said and lawyer didn't say. The bottom line in all these things is that Simon had a plan with the government of Nigeria through Ngozi Oraboye, because Ngozi Oraboye is the liaison between Simon and the government authorities, because Simon is playing clever. He doesn't want any texts or any email going from him to anybody in Nigeria. So Ngozi Oraboye is the one doing that for him. Okay, so they've worked out and sealed the plan that this guy is not going to come out alive, so he can be free to go and do the brainwash with Biafrans, and they can now cook up anything and come to Biafrans and declare things. I'm forgetting that the things he has said before are stuck with Biafrans. You can't tell Biafrans that you're not going to take any information coming from DSS. And now suddenly you're accepting information from there. Who are you? Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? Who do you think you're kidding? So, because as I reviewed it, it became obvious that this guy is up to no good. This guy is now going into the most dangerous territory in all this whole thing. Okay, and it is too obvious to ignore. It's too obvious to ignore. But I want to let him know that, and I want to remind his soul, if he still has a soul, and the souls of those who are propelling him. The Mazi Nnamdi Kanu you're seeing there is representing humanity. The Mazi Nnamdi Kanu you are seeing there is a great asset to humanity. And that's why we're going to defend him to the tilt. The Mazi Nnamdi Kanu you're seeing there has already lost his parents because of this struggle. Don't play with his soul. Don't play with his soul. And I want to say it a third time. Don't play with his soul. This guy has paid real price for this. Don't. If you're crazy, let your madness not get to this one. Let your personal ambitions not drive you crazy with this one, because you're going to sink. You're going to sink with this madness. Don't even go there. Don't go there. These people, they don't know what they're playing with. You know, people play with, I've seen children playing with fire. This is more than playing with fire.
Yes.
This is more than playing with fire. Simon Ekpa, just be warned. You and your cohorts, you are warned. You won't say you were not warned. This is pathetic. This is shameful.
So, what do you think Biafrans should be doing now?
Biafrans should start revolting in more than one way. In more than one way. What you're doing now is one of those things Biafrans should be doing. Everybody must sit up and begin to make Simon Ekpa understand that this game will not work. That is one thing. Two, I want Biafrans, wherever you are, you see that seat at home. You see that seat at home. We are going to start organizing it to even get into proper gear right now, so that people, they need to know that they can't play with Nnamdi Kanu. They can't play with Nnamdi Kanu. Simon Ekpa is a nobody, a totally nobody. He needs to know it. Simon Ekpa, okay, is a total, even to have tampered with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to this extent, to have placed him in this level of danger and risk because of all this nonsense he's doing. Biafrans will show him that he is he's less than a little drop in an ocean. He's less than that. This guy is turned into a complete idiot. So Biafrans should wake up, smell the coffee, understand it. Don't go with the crowd, because there are many Nigerians now backing Simon. Many stupid Nigerians with Fulani blood backing Simon, making you believe he knows what he's doing. This guy is gone mad. The demons are in him. He's gone mad. He's gone mad. So ignore all the silliness of Nigerians and those Biafrans with Fulani blood. Ignore them. Ignore them. Ignore them. Don't even think they are. No. Don't go with the crowd this time, because you will see more of Fulani and more of Nigerians who want Nnamdi Kanu dead. You will see them with different names, with no faces, with different faces, with names that sound like Igbo, commenting, supporting this evil, okay? Because they are working towards an agenda. You as a Biafran begin to say no. Don't even, your freedom is everything. Your freedom is everything. And Simon Ekpa has proven that he can't bring you freedom. He is now a vehicle through which you will remain in chain forever. He has become a vehicle through which you're going to remain in slavery. You have seen it. The 150 days he promised did not work. The Obi would abandon the campaign by the end of November. Did not work. The no election in Biafran land, that what he has on the ground will stop election. You saw he had nothing on the ground. There was nothing. The nonsense about I am not a career agitator, it's all lies, because he had made it clear that it is Biafrans that are funding his organization. So he's a career agitator. You are the ones sponsoring him. Now Nigeria is bringing even more money. Okay? So he thinks he has arrived. You see those things he was claiming that Ifeanyi Ejiofor wanted to be. He wanted to be Nonyama. That is now what Simon Ekpa wants to be. Okay? They've promised him billions. He's getting this money through an agent of Nigeria. So it is very clear. He believes that Nnamdi Kanu will not come out alive. And now he is propelling an agenda to make you believe in him. And it is a road that leads to nowhere other than disaster for Biafrans. Simon wants to put you back into slavery forever. Know it now. Know it now. And I want to also tell you to look, as a Nigerian, as a Biafran, to look out for the roadmap towards your freedom. I want you, as a Biafran, to look out, because everything that is going on is part of the plan to free Biafrans. Look out for the plan. We are going to declare it. It's not going to be a hidden secret. We want to make every Biafran a stakeholder in Biafra, so we can all go and get it together. It's going to be a miracle. It is. I'm not even going to say it is going to look like a miracle. It is going to be a miracle, because God is going to use a few people working together. No one wanting to be anything. No one wanting to be Obuagun or Dragon or conqueror of... no. Few individuals with a common purpose that is selfless, that is community-orientated, to free Biafra once and for all. We are going to show you the roadmap, and you will see and test it for yourselves. And then you know, because we want probity and accountability. We want total credibility. We want transparency. We want anybody serving Biafran to be accountable to the people. When you are asked a question, you explain the question, especially when it is relating to your finances. How can you take public fund and make it an individual's fund that you can't explain and you can't account for? What rubbish is that? You can't run a company like that, let alone a nation. No company can be run like that, let alone a nation. Like I said to you, the day I knew that these guys are jokers was when Azoka did what she did, claiming to have heard from Onyendu. You can see that they are liars. If I were Simon Ekpa, if I was in charge, that day I would sack Azoka, because I can't work with such a liar. I can't work with somebody who just wants to project herself as the all-knowing person.
Because they are the same. Because they are the same. You cannot sack her
because he's not credible and they are the same.
Yes.
They are covering each other up. He couldn't do without her, and they couldn't even criticize her. So you can see the game. It's too obvious. It's too transparent, and we can't ignore it. My brother, listen, I have to go because I've got so much to do.
All right, please,
okay?
Please. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I will leave you now to carry on and do justice to the program. I trust the work you can do. Thank you so much. And all hail Biafra. All hail Biafra. All hail Biafra. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Yes, Biafrans, you've heard from Prince. He has given us the details and the facts. And I want you to know, Biafrans, that if you allow Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to become a victim, if you allow him to be taken down by these wicked souls that are thinking of themselves alone, talking about themselves alone, coming to party online and using your money to buy champagne and dancing online, pressing breast and all of that, doing all of those nonsense, and you allow them water your brain. Because if you allow somebody like someone who is demented, whose brain, who is not intelligent, for him to control your mind means that you are too low. Because if you allow somebody like Simon, who is not intelligent, I can prove it that he's not intelligent, to control you. If you allow somebody who is not intelligent to control you, then something is wrong with you. Because you should be looking up to people who have what to offer. How can someone be running away from people who can? I mean, look at, they are making your mindset to go low on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They're making you feel like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has given up, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now believes that the only person who should carry on is Simon. That Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, after all these months of waiting, almost 2 years waiting, and we're asking, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be released. Suddenly, Simon is coming to tell you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said that nobody should talk about him again, but people should be talking about him. He said that through his agent, the person who came to do that broadcast, and that all his stooges are publicizing. He didn't do it for himself. He was paid to do it. Please, I don't know why we can't reason out things very, very well. Please, this thing is so disheartening. What is happening right now is so disheartening. Now look at it. They are trying to make you see everything like it is part of the prophecy. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said that he's going to sacrifice anything sacrificable. So maybe they will now come to tell you, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said now that you shouldn't think about him. You should think about Simon. And then suddenly they are now coming to give you one dramatic story by one sham lawyer, so that they will now use it to monitor your behavior, the way Nigeria behaves. They look at you, they give you one narrative and see how you're going to react. Then when you react somehow, and somehow they now come again with another narrative. They want to keep testing you because they know that your brain is controlled by colonial programming. So they now look at the story. The lawyer comes to tell us that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was fainting. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu rushed into the toilet, and then he rushed there to join him. You think that a reasonable lawyer would be there, just like Prince said, and his client is dying, and he tells you then when it is time to, then he tells you that his time was over, his time was up, and then he had to leave, and then the DSS will tell him to leave, and he will leave, and he tells you he's a lawyer, and he's giving you a narrative that the person who is his client is dying. What does that tell you? Somebody's playing games here. They are trying to make you believe in the narrative. And when that narrative comes up, you will now remember that word they said. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, "Don't talk about me, talk about Simon." So you now say, "Oh, maybe now Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have seen this coming. You have seen that he's going to die very soon." So that is why he now made that statement that Simon should be protected. People should not talk about him anymore. That means he has seen, maybe God has showed him his death. And this kind of narrative, painting a false narrative in your mind by people who are not intelligent. We have to understand this. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be protected by every one of us. I just pray. I don't want to believe something, but please, Biafrans, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be protected by all of us. If you allow Mazi Nnamdi Kanu go down, you will suffer with it. If you, with your stupidity, those of you jumping around Simon, anything Simon does, anything somebody tells you, everything we are exposing to you, showing you evidences, speaking to you, all you can do is to keep talking and just coming to insult people because they're telling you the truth. People who are in this thing, who know what is happening, telling you the truth, and all you are doing is insult them because you want to protect Simon and you neglect Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You first did that by embracing Peter Obi. You embrace Peter Obi, saying that Peter Obi is your savior. That has disappointed you. Now Simon has put himself as a prime minister. Now you are doing everything to protect him, neglecting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You will suffer for it. If you think that you will go scot-free by this your attitude, if you think the spirits are taking records, some of you are just dancing around Simon, and upon all the criminality, for the fact that Azuka's husband is the one whose account is being used to collect your money, should make you understand that something is wrong. For the fact that you refuse to say anything about it and you are supporting impunity proves that you are against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If anything happens to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as much as we're going to hold Nigeria responsible and Simon responsible, you are going to face it might not even come to us. It might not even be us. It will be the spirit, the spirit, the soul of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will haunt you and your family to the 4th generation. because we can't understand how wicked we are. We have become so wicked. Someone who gave himself the same way they did to Christ. They crucified him. Everybody was just coming looking at him. The king of the Jews. They will spit and walk away. The person who gave himself, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, gave himself. He said it before he was kidnapped. He said, I will not disappoint you. Now he said, you will disappoint me. And this prophecy you are making to come to pass. He said, you will disappoint me. You are the one that he said will disappoint him. If you are making him look like what he did is just for nothing. You are the one he's talking to. You that is running around Simon. Everything Simon does is right to you. Everything that Simon does is right to you. You are the one disappointing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If you think he's talking to one set of people, he's talking to you. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's life is precious to us. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's life is precious to us. And every one of you must understand that it is your responsibility to protect it. We are telling Simon today, and we're telling Nigeria, because we know they are working in concert. Nigeria, Simon. Because for that lawyer to go there and begin to, look at idiots asking me what I'm doing to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Look at how stupid you people are. Simon is collecting your money. You are not asking him what he's doing with your money. You are coming to ask me, let me block this idiot. Coming to ask me what I'm doing. We are saying something serious here. You are coming to display your stupidity and ignorance. What am I doing to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Ask the person you are giving money. If you are even contributing. All of you are just a bunch of idiots. Can you imagine? You see, you people will see red. You will be calling it black. Oh, I won't curse you, but you're already cursed. I don't need to curse you. At least I have the anointing to curse you because I am ordained. So I have the anointing to curse you, but I won't curse you because for the fact that you are coming against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the ordained one, you're already cursed. You see all this evil happening. We are telling Simon and Nigeria, if anything happens to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, all these shenanigans, all these things you people are doing, he's vomiting. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said we shouldn't worry about him, and we should protect Simon. We shouldn't worry about him. And Simon comes say, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is pleased. Where is that? Let me see if I can see that message that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is pleased with what he's doing. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is pleased with what he's doing. Let me see, but I'll see that narrative here. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is pleased with what he's doing. Maybe I don't have it here. I think I don't have it here. I don't have it here. I wish I can find it here. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is pleased. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in DSS dungeon telling Simon that he's pleased. He came to tell you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is pleased. The same person came to tell you that he will not accept anything coming from DSS dungeon because everything coming from DSS dungeon is going to be influenced by the DSS and the Fulanis because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu cannot say something freely in their presence. So anything they're going to say that they will allow out is something that will suit their narrative. So which means that if he is telling us that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said in the presence of the DSS that he's pleased with Simon Ekpa, it simply means that he's now telling us that the DSS also is pleased with him and Nigeria government is pleased with him because it is only when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can say in the presence of DSS that he's pleased with Simon, it simply means that DSS also, if they allow that message to get to Simon, means that DSS is satisfied with what Simon is doing. That is why they allowed that kind of statement to come out to Simon from the DSS dungeon, telling you that it is from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because they believe that what Simon is doing now, right now, is helping the Nigeria government to be sustained. That is why DSS will now support that kind of statement to come. That Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is pleased. The same way Ejiofor too was talking about what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was saying. Don't fight, be calm, don't do anything, and just be calm. And don't just be calm. And all of that. The DSS was promoting that anytime Ejiofor comes, they don't do anything to him because they believe what he's saying is helping them to propagate their will. It's helping their narrative to sell. It is helping the Nigerian government to thrive. They knew that everything Ejiofor was saying was helping them to be sustained. That is the same way now this other person, Simon, is now saying that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, or Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is pleased with what he's doing, simply means that DSS is satisfied. So they allow that kind of narrative to come out to Simon from the same person who gave him that information. That's what it means. Thank you so much. ESN's name every time fundraising ESN, but yet I'm going. One of these broadcasts, I'm going to have some of the commanders, maybe some of them who want to talk. Let them come to this platform and tell you some stuff. They need to talk to you because our people have become so wicked that we don't care anymore. We have been so, I don't know whether it is a spell from the juju man working for Simon and Azuka, or it is from the juju that Judith, also all of them doing around Simon. I don't know whether it is that juju that has bastardized the brain, or is it Fulani cow. I don't know which one is working against Biafrans. That people cannot reason anymore. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have become their enemy. Look at them. Look at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu coming to tell us that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is vomiting, and he now walked away, saying that his time was up to see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He's giving us an impression Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is dying. He's now telling us that he walked away because his time was up. Now, meaning that whatever is happening to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now, where he is now, he doesn't know because he has left there. So he doesn't know what is happening to him. And then we all now, with how stupid we are, we will now take it, oh, we don't know, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is vomiting. But anyways, thank God we have Simon. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have already said it, that Simon, and we should protect Simon. We should leave, we should not mind him. We should protect Simon. What you see how the narrative is going? They want to poison Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and then they will not. That narrative is already out there. Then Biafrans will now say, "No need to fight. No need. We don't need to do." And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have already said it, that Simon we should protect. We should leave him. We are smarter than that. We're not stupid. We're not daft. We are not daft. That's what he said. He will not take instruction from DSS dungeon, but now he's taking that. He now believes that. Telling you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is pleased with what he's doing. That one came out from the DSS dungeon. Yes, it's correct. Now, the other day he came to produce a document. He canceled some places. He closed one place. He now begin to propagate that number one, saying that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said on no account should anybody respond to Simon. Does that mean that Simon is doing the right thing? Is it because we didn't want to talk about that matter? On no account, because Simon is not his business. DOS is his business. They should mind their business and do the work he has put them there to do. Not moving around Simon because they are being distracted. That's what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was trying to say. You people should do why I constituted you is for this purpose of freedom. You are not doing the right thing. Face your work. Leave Simon alone. Let him do his own thing. Anybody could go for what they want to do for Biafra. Simon wants to do the way he's doing it. If he's right or wrong, I don't know. But you, DOS, I put you there to be right, and you have to follow my line. So do what I told you to do. That's what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was trying to say. He was not complimenting Simon in any way. By that point one, on no account should you talk about Simon. It does not mean that Simon is doing the right thing. Let's be smart, for God's sake. Let's not be stupid. A few days before Python Dance in September 14th, 2017, Kanu gave an order that should be rearrested. Kanu gave an order that should be re-arrested again. We should burn down the zoo. What are we waiting for? And now somebody's now telling us that he says we shouldn't bother about him again. We should support. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, anytime you didn't see me, everything that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said when he was free is what you should hold. Not now. Somebody's coming to, third party is coming to tell you, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said this. So all this narrative that Simon is promoting, people who can sponsor people to play music and call their names in the music, and then they will be dancing, people like Azuka and Simon, they will come and hail them in music. If they can pay money for that kind of purpose, why do you think they can't pay money for somebody to come and tell you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said that you should forget about him and embrace Simon? If they can go that far for people to sing their praises in music, then they can do anything because they are power mongers. When you see people looking for, when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in dungeon, they are singing, drinking champagne. The same thing he's complaining, the same about this Biafra government in exile that had an overnight meeting. They now had a refreshment after the meeting. He is now calling them criminals. The same thing, he will come online, begin to dance. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is suffering, sleeping on bare floor. He's dancing, champagne, popping champagne. Azuka will come. The husband will be pressing her breast. And you people see it as good. You people are evil. I'm talking about those who are evil. I'm not talking about those who are not with that nonsense. People who can reason. I'm talking to these evil people. let nothing happen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Simon, you and Nigeria government, we are talking to the two of you. You and Nigeria government. When we talk about Simon, we are talking about all the people working with you. Nigeria government, we are talking about you also inclusive, because what you are doing now is favoring Nigeria. And Ngozi Arabweze, who is their front to you. We are talking about all of you, because you are all in this clique now. Because what you are doing now is pleasing the Nigeria government. What you are doing now, Simon, is pleasing the Nigeria government, meaning that you are working together. What you are doing now is pleasing the Nigeria government. Let nothing happen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because you are so power drunk. You want to be prime minister. You believe Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will not come out. Now you are calling yourself prime minister, because you will not have that guts to ever come out to call yourself prime minister. Anyways, you are a social media prime minister. You are a social media prime minister who recognizes you. You are just joking. 70 million Biafrans are just looking at you. You are just joking. You are a joker, Simon. You are a joker. Let nothing because for you, for Nigeria, for you to tell us Nnamdi Kanu is pleased with you, and that you are trying to make us believe that that information comes from the DSS dungeon, and DSS will never allow any narrative that will not suit their own intentions out. So if that narrative, just like a Jofo was bringing out and given to us, was suiting the Nigeria narrative, you also, that narrative is suiting your own, is suiting the Nigeria, that narrative also, talking about you, is suiting the Nigeria government. That's why DSS allowed it to come. Thank you so much, Pastor, for joining. Thank you so much, sir. I think you have another device that is on. Social media prime minister, yes. Because Simon now sees every Biafran as having this chicken syndrome. Remember, I said this in the afternoon when we were having meetings, chicken syndrome. Wherever you throw food, the chicken will run there and eat. You throw it here again, they run and eat. Simon has given those people chicken syndrome. Simon, I'm telling you something that is real. You are saying it, Edith. That's this Edith. Don't let me block you. You are saying things. We are giving you facts. Don't you reason? You are saying we are fighting. What do you mean fighting? So we should keep quiet and allow things to go bad. Simon came all out and calling people criminals. You didn't ask him that he's fighting people. We're now telling you the wrongs that he's doing, the things that he came to criticize about, the wrongs. We are showing you evidences. Instead of you to sit down, reason. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is dead to us. You're coming here to tell me that we are fighting. Is this how you're going to get Biafra? By fighting someone? You don't know that fighting someone is part of, even that fight you're talking about, is part of getting Biafra. Because we have to fight evil. It is your responsibility. You, this idiot. I don't know whether you know the meaning of your name. It is your responsibility to fight evil. When you see it, you talk it down. You make sure the people are informed about it. That is why we are on the media, because we must let people know what is evil and what is happening. You don't keep quiet on evil. When they kill people in Biafra land, you will say CNN is not talking about it. You people will say CNN is not talking about it. But you are seeing evil in your own land. You're not talking about it. People talk about it. You say they are fighting. But you'll be complaining CNN is not talking about the evil going on in our land. Pastor, please, you're welcome. I think you have two devices on. I think one has to go off. Let me put off one and then allow the other one to. We have three of you. Okay, now I've removed it. Okay, so we have one now. You're welcome, Pastor.
Yes, Kelechi.
Please, what do you have to say about these things? Because we have been talking. Because remove
one. Remove one. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you very much. I am very happy you came out to say this. Look, Kelechi, I was online with somebody that called me from South Africa.
Okay.
He started advising me that I should remember all the sacrifices I've made for the Biafran struggle, and that he wouldn't want it to go in vain, so that I would not be misunderstood by Biafrans, and that I should go and mend fences with Simon and stop speaking against Simon. I should focus on issues or, the ministry,
that a lot has come under the bridge, but that I should not continue again. So I was patient. He finished talking, and I asked him a question. I asked him some questions. Let me start with the first one. I said, number one, are you worried over me that I might lose my credibility among Biafrans? I wanted yes or no, based on what he said.
Sure.
He said, why he's saying this? I said, no, just answer me the question, because you just told me that you are worried that I don't lose.
He's more concerned about you than you.
So I told him, are you worried about my losing credibility in the Biafran struggle? He finally said yes. I said, okay. Number two, I asked him a second question, because he said he wants to de-escalate the whole thing. I asked him, are you well informed about what is going on? He said he does not want to know. I said, no, I didn't ask you whether I want to know. I said, are you well informed? He said, no. Then I asked him, how can you de-escalate a situation which you are not well informed about? He said that he knows that the enemies of Biafra is DOS, so we should pull our resources together and work with Simon. I said, you have not answered my question. How do you de-escalate a situation you are not conversant with? I gave him an example. I said, two little children are fighting over something. And you came in their midst, separated them, without asking them what happened. You told this person, go, that's okay, you go. And as I telling this person go, he took this person's money, which you didn't ask to know what is happening.
Yes.
He took the money, that justified him, he left with the money. And the other person went back home crying. Maybe the mother sent him on an errand, the money was with him. They are going to beat him. So how have you de-escalated the thing? You have only escalated the situation. You have insulted this young man's intelligence. I told him, go and find out. He said he's trying to tell me that the blessed are the peacemaker. I said, the Bible says that is there no wise man among you that is able to settle issues among brethren? That means if a well-known church member is having problem with a church official, and you come and you tell the church official, go, church member, go, let there be peace. You pray for them. Maybe the church official hurt the church member. Maybe he slept with his daughter and they're having problems. You just tell him, no, we want peace. Let that, so that they will go on with preaching Jesus. The service will start. I said, that is wrong. Go and find out the thing. The guy coming from South Africa. I said that I am going to excuse you on this matter because you don't know what happened. Because if you had known and had known the whole stories, then I would have been asking you, and asking a question, as you're advising me, did you pick your phone to call Simon Ekpa? He said he called somebody, he called this one, he called Ifimiko. I said, not if you all be called. I said, did you pick your phone to call Simon Ekpa? Finally, he said yes. I said, you told him, say, what did Simon Ekpa respond to you? He said, he's not here to tell me. I said, fine. It is based on what he responded to you. That's why you've come here to advise me. And I don't want to go into any contention with you. I like to argue my point straight. You don't have anything to present. You came to de-escalate what you don't even know. You cannot take a textbook because you read in the middle. You conclude you've known the whole textbook. You did not start from the beginning. You don't know how the book concluded. And then begin to tell a story about the book. It doesn't mean you're intelligent. But you have to go deep into the thing. The Bible says, the book of Luke, having followed Jesus's story, ministry, from the day he started till the day he died and resurrected and went to heaven. Luke had a proper account and was giving his narrative as somebody who is well versed. You are not. So go and study it, and before you come back to me, then I'll listen to you. So what I'm trying to say is this. Kelechi, as I was thinking, as I was talking with him, I was having this ministration. We are playing our part. Because I told you, man, if we had kept quiet and things spoiled tomorrow, you people will say, but Pastor Mecca, you and others, you were there, this thing was happening. Yeah. You saw, why didn't you stop it? That you are all part of the mistakes. It is what we are telling you now, that our enemy is not just DOS. The enemy to Biafran liberation is Simon Ekpa right now. Either by design or default, he has entered into something that is trying to derail the Biafran project. And you people that are supporting him, either by design or default, your ignorance or whatever willful decision to be ignorant, or ignorance out of the reason, out of the fact that you don't want to know. or you don't have the mind to comprehend something and know the truth. You are all part of those that are supporting it. So we are saying it now. Makadiko Mama, tomorrow, if anything happens, we say they'll go back to Facebook and hear us talk on YouTube that we said it, but they refuse to listen.
Yes.
Now, there was something you were saying. It struck me so much, and it worried me, and it's true. Onyendu's life is in danger. And if you look at the way Simon is going, the government which is forming, that Biafran, is it liberation government, right?
Yes.
Good.
Liberation, is it Liberation Army also?
Yes, is it Biafran National Liberation, whatever, the one that is forming. That is the nucleus of his militia, not ESN again. Look at it. It is no longer ESN.
Biafra Liberation Army.
Yes. That Liberation Army, the question is, who formed it? Because the one that Nnamdi was telling you they formed, which Simon Ekpa came into, he is cashing in on that name, like you just gave an information in respect to success. Who said to something and it was heard that Simon is trying to build an army using the BNL or BLA, I don't know what their names are. Now, once monies are collected in the name of ESN, this Liberation Army is funded and ESN is starved of funds.
Yes.
And then by being starved of funds, ESN now are pushed onto the wall to look for a way to survive because they're already enemies to the Nigerian government. And they're also enemies, those of them that don't go with China Sanworu, they're enemies of China Sanworu's people. Then they're also enemies of Ebubago. So the only place where they would have had hope is ESN if someone had controlled them very well, taking care of them. But he's abandoning them now and forming his own militia. And then the generalissimo of his militia is Butuzo. Now this Butuzo, I don't know why our people don't think, is the same person whom Simon said he has been killing our people. They have suddenly gotten the guy, brought him in now. The very man who killed Biafrans. Let's assume, those of you that condemn us here, your brother was one of those that Butuzo killed. And now Butuzo is now the leader of the soldiers, which Simon Ekpa is raising up. Would you be happy to hear that? That Butuzo killed your brother, that was the breadwinner of the family. Would you be happy? No? But because he did not touch you directly, you don't care. You have an excuse to give. That is one angle. Then another one is this. We have a Republic of Biafran government in exile, RBGIE. We cannot have another Biafran government in exile in America. We have just one, which had been, they have notified the American government, they are aware of it. They have a place where they have office. And the first man who trained ESN at the early stage that made them very effective, he's still alive today. You saw him. And Simon spoke against his people, blackmailed them. We thought he was saying the truth. I tell you, brother, I was among those that spoke against them. Because I was following Simon, I felt that he was saying the truth. I didn't know, because I didn't know much. Whatever I was told, I just took it. Until things started happening, we began to suspect. Now, I am going to look out for that household, which tomorrow I'll be going to Bel Air. I know where that place is. It's about 30 minutes drive from my house here. I'll just enter in my Equinox and drive there, go and look, take picture, do a video program, and show you that building, if it is the same thing with the one which is showed on picture one. And because the one showed on picture is a house, it's like a bungalow. And so I'm going to go there to check it. If it is the same thing, and check the address. And if it is true, I bring it to Biafrans. They will see it and know. Now, this same Simon said that we had a prime minister that operated a Republic of Biafran government in exile, which he later on discredited. It was Nnamdi that came to give us a breakdown on how they progressed from one prime minister to the other. And Simon said he was going to bring this man to address us, that they are there. And then suddenly they disappeared. They formed another Biafran Republic government in exile. And the prime minister now is Simon. The day he was elected, the other ministers, what happened to the other cabinet? The whole cabinet were discredited by one man. He found another one. Now, I'm coming. Now, unless you have something to say, there's something I want to raise up.
No, go on, please. Go on, please. I'm just
okay. Thank you. Now, if there was a group called World Igbo Union, I don't know whether you remember.
Yes, I do.
That were the persons that criticized World Igbo Congress because of their stance against Simon and the Biafran project. Sure. And the question is, who are the members and leaders of World Igbo Union?
Nobody.
It turned out to be the people that work in the advisory council of Simon Ekpa.
That's it.
It should be an organization with secretary, general secretary, treasurer, all these things. They would have had where they had meetings. They should be known on internet. Nothing. You know, Biafrans don't ask questions. They see Simon like a savior, and they don't want to. Even Jesus, before he came to die, for him to die in the world, he raised up disciples, went about teaching, establishing his presence, showing with physical proofs that he is the savior. There was no doubt about it. But that of Simon, nobody's looking at it. They're just believing that he's going to, by abracadabra, make Biafra to manifest. Like he told them, you sleep in Nigeria and wake up in Biafra the following day. I agreed. Because when you ask questions, they don't want to answer you. Now, he was cashing in on disturbance in the land. That will be possibly today, there is disturbance in Nigeria, and Oduduwa will go, Middle Belt will go, Biafra will go. You wake up in the morning, wow, we are Biafrans. Those things don't exist. You don't get Biafra on the social media. You get it on ground. Now, when those things happened, that he had this World Igbo Union, who were the officials? Then another peace organization came up and gave Simon award, peace award. The organization did not open their mouth to speak and tell the whole world. Who announced it? It was Simon. The World Igbo Union that spoke against World Igbo Congress. None of the officials who spoke on their behalf. It is the same Simon. Now, look, listen, we are building up, because if you people don't want to listen, the point is that at the end of, because I've sat down and asked myself a lot of questions, and I am asking, what do I benefit from the Biafran project? It's just that Biafra is actualized. That's all. Nothing is good. So that we have our own nation.
Yes.
And if I begin to see that maybe they don't want to know the truth, you know, Jesus was entering into Jerusalem, and as was driving in his horse, the court, he looked at Jerusalem and said, he lamented and said, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, if only you know what pertains to your peace this day. For how long have I, as a chicken, tried my best, a hen, tried my best to gather my chicken under my wings, but you have refused. And therefore, behold, your land is left unto you desolate. That they will dash your children and do you evil, and you will not see me again until the day you say, Baruch haba Beshem Adonai, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. I have thought over it, and I'm asking, do I just close my Facebook, forget about the Biafran? Because I've told them the truth enough to the extent I have put my life on the line, I've explained, I have talked, I have done everything to make them understand something is going wrong somewhere. They don't want to listen. And I came to realize what Nnamdi Kanu said. If not that God called him into this project, he would have given up long ago. Because you people, you are evil. He was right. Because if not that, actually, I had this leading to enter into this Biafran thing. Right from when I was 7 years old. I tell you, what has happened so far is enough for me to, Kelechi, I'm telling you the truth as my friend. Drop this Biafran project, leave it for them, close my Facebook account, just take it off entirely out of my mind. I will never hear anything about Biafra again. Because when I block my Facebook account, block my WhatsApp number, every Biafran that I know, and it ends there, I carry on what I'm doing in life, carry on with my ministry work and forget it, and be waiting. If Biafra comes, thank God. If it doesn't come and they have problem, that is their problem. let them suffer it. Because how can people be covering lies, protecting lies? They cannot speak. Okay, as this thing progressed, one day, Simon Ekpa came up when they said there was a message from Onyendu that they should listen to DOS. He said, we're not going to take any instruction from DSS that purported to come from Onyendu. Acceptable, we agreed. But when that same DSS dungeon and instruction came out saying that Onyendu is happy with what Simon Ekpa is doing, Simon Ekpa took it because he favored him. Can't you put 2 and 2 to understand what is going, that this guy has an agenda? And then after that one, the next one was a story. Forget about me. Listening to Simon Ekpa, like you rightly pointed out, it's like Jesus giving the last rite while he was on the cross to die. He told the mother, behold your son, John. He told John, behold your mother. That's it. He's handing over. So Onyendu with his mouth, that is what Simon Ekpa and co are doing. They are bringing you a false narrative from the pit of hell, saying that Onyendu with his mouth has said, forget about him, he's going to die, protect Simon Ekpa. And if he dies tomorrow, they say, yes, he said it. So this is the man we are following, and he will lead all of you into doom. Because Simon Ekpa is working for the Nigerian government through Ngozi Orabueze. He knows we are saying the truth. Ngozi knows we are saying the truth. Now, as that one is happening, the next thing we are hearing is that there was a plan, an intel, that Onyendu was going to be poisoned through his doctor. And now, they are building up this thing to the extent where now Onyendu's health, the information they are giving, that when they were talking with him, he went and vomited, and the sister began to cry. So now they will try and look for a doctor, his doctor that will take care of him. And it is that his doctor that will kill him. Or anybody they bring, they will tell you that Onyendu is dead under certain circumstances. And then all Biafrans will now turn to Simon. Please save us. Onyendu said that you should be our savior. It is you that we know. He has cooked his thing very... As I'm talking, some Biafrans don't want to listen. But the Lord God in heaven knows we have said our own, our hands are clean. Tomorrow, that's why I spoke to you yesterday, Kelechi, and others, that God removed you from this, used you to remove us from this wicked plan, which we're not aware. Lest tomorrow, they will begin to blame us that we're part of it. Priest was confessing today that he had always felt that I was in the inner caucus of the IPF. I wasn't. If people met me, it was on self-recognition, not because I was appointed into any particular position and I was not interested. So they kept coming and disturbing me, and I was telling them, please don't. In fact, I told Azuka that, listen, there are certain information which, if I hear, by hearing it, I am already implicated. I must be part of it. That's why I don't want to hear any information about what is going on. Don't tell me, let me just be speaking. There is one stupid idiot called Travel Blog. If you look at his face, you know the guy looks dumb. Look at his face here. He looks dumb. He was talking and Ikechukwu gave him explanation. He said he didn't know that. Idiots. People who don't process with their minds. I don't look at that lousy nonsense trash of people. And now Simon has used the instrument of coercion and intimidation. No person in autopilot media has the boldness to speak. Though behind, they speak against Simon several times to our hearing. One of them came out and said, I don't want to mention his name because I don't deal with them individually. That would be giving them promotion. And talk because we don't talk. They couldn't even meet you in any department of the game. Even when we're talking, sometimes I join them to feel that you were trying to go against the norms because Simon lifted you up and you were not responding to autopilot media. But when we came and discussed, they would tell me you're supporting your boy. I said, no, Kelechi is not, but he's a full-blown man. That who gave Kelechi authority? It was Simon, so you don't have to blame Kelechi. It's a man acting under instructions. Yeah, exactly. Now, when they realized that you were doing a good job and there was nothing they could do, they had to back out. Now, all of them are put under pressure. They cannot boldly speak because if any of them should dare speak, those of them that use their line to make money, if someone opens his mouth against any of them, subscribers will drop to maybe 50 and no payment from YouTube. So they are keeping quiet. And they themselves cannot, I'm sure he has been recording them, because they are the ones that like recording people. I don't have time for that nonsense. I don't have to record you. We discuss if you're telling the truth. God knows if you're lying. God knows you. So now Simon has done this thing to the extent now that he has captured. Let me tell you, there was this guy, Absalom, when he wanted to overthrow his father David. He went about meeting the Jews. And at the end of the day, he captured the minds of the Jews.
That's right.
When David one day came home and discovered that the people didn't want him again, the same David whom they held and respected, like Nnamdi Kanu'S being held. That is the reason why I said it. That if Simon had succeeded in planting his face in our currency, that would have been the seal. Because forever, being accepted by the Biafran people, Onyendu will not have a say. Because I have heard people talk here that Onyendu, that after all, I mean, what is wrong with somebody's face coming out in the currency, that as long as he gives them Biafra? Somebody made that argument. A very stupid, useless, I think it's the lady. She made that stupid argument to Juliet and the Benja's platform. I had to block her from my, she used to be my friend on Facebook. I blocked her. That one I blocked, very friendly with me. Her name is Candy Chiaz or something. She was criticizing you and insulting you. So I sent her a text. Even you, Candy, you don't even know the truth. At this point, I'm sorry.
Candy Chiaz, I think I know,
Yeah, I'm going to offend you. At that point, I offended her. Because people have failed to look into things and reason very well. They are moving like fools and idiots. So Simon Ekpa has succeeded in buying the minds of Biafrans through voice notes, through his elevation, from the disciple of Nnamdi Kanu to his spiritual son. Third, he became the dragon. Nnamdi Kanu was not even considered the dragon. The dragon is the most fierce animal in the Bible that kills, that can pour out fire in his mouth so he can kill a lion. Simon took that dragon. From dragon, Simon took Major Gaga, which I don't know. That one is different. Then after that dragon, the next thing he took was Biafran spokesperson. After Biafran spokesperson, he took interim leader, which he criticized Chike Doziem. That same post, he came out and took it. And as if that was not enough, why was he criticizing it? He now went to the Prime Minister of Biafra. And Nnamdi Kanu is now just an honor given to him. He will, because after Prime Minister, this person is president. But the head of government is the Prime Minister, who has the power to appoint ministers, his cabinet, and he has appointed his cabinet members. So the World Igbo Union, the members of World Igbo Union, they come from Simon Ekpa's cabinet.
Of course.
The peace committee group that gave him members of that peace committee, some of them, if not all, belong to Simon Ekpa's cabinet, advisory council. So as he has built up all these things, the heart of Biafrans now are in Simon Ekpa. So if you hear tomorrow Onyendu is dead, Biafrans will not worry much because they will only mourn him.
That's it.
They will only say, yes, he had said it before, that Onyendu is a prophet. He knew he was going to die. So he had handed over to Simon Ekpa. Simon has effectively stolen the hearts of Biafrans, who, when Onyendu was kidnapped, DOS could not do the needful. People were having high blood pressure. Simon came in to salvage the situation, and we supported him. But sometimes you see Simon Ekpa boast. I've even said it myself, that what Onyendu could not do in 10 years, Simon Ekpa did it within 1 year. And why I said I agreed with him was on the basis that we supported Simon. Onyendu had the capacity to do it. The problem was his lieutenants were against him. But in Simon's own, we were there working. So if you when you are too many doing a particular thing, many hands do light work. But Simon rode on the sentiments of Biafrans to come to the level where, for you to convince Biafrans not to believe in Simon, it will be like forcing a horse to drink water in the stream. But the truth is, unless you decide, Biafrans, to wake up in your mind, emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our minds. None but ourselves can free our minds. Jesus went talking. He talked and talked and talked and talked until they began to understand. A time came, Jesus became fed up. He told them, I will not come to you again until you said, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. And Onyendu told them, I'm tired. This salt is too much. We don't have any men. All we have are women. What is wrong? He's tired. He decided to go to the war front. And that is there he is. So if he dies there, know that we have disappointed him. But we are bringing ourselves out of it. We're exonerating ourselves. We're extricating ourselves by telling Biafrans, look, the main enemy of the Biafran struggle right now is Simon Ekpa. Because Simon has taken a Nigerian agent into his cabinet and they are telling him what to do. Remember, when they asked Simon, where is the weak point of ESN? Instead of keeping quiet, Simon blew it and told them. Why wouldn't they tell them? There have been an arrangement before that will throw this question to you. Answer so that will kill them because we have program for you.
Of course.
Simon knows that Ngozi Rabweze sponsors politicians. In this 2023 election, he sponsored them. It was out before the election. That was enough for him to distance. Azuka told me that day that when she told Simon that this woman sponsors a Nigerian politician, she said Simon was shocked. I said, really? That's good. Yeah. She said she's going to talk to him. But when Azuka, when she came back and said that thing that Ngozi, no, she can trust Ngozi, that Ngozi is liable. Yeah. It is the same Azuka that is being accused. Not giving proper accounting. When they ask her, she refused. How can you commit the resources of a whole nation in the hands of a woman and the husband? Does it mean there are no Biafrans who have understanding to take care of money? Don't we have educated Biafrans who are committed to the Biafran cause? No one, no single one. In the appointment of his cabinet, let me try and advocate for these guys in autopilot media because they have never been respected. They know. They have told me, I have told them. They know very well that Simon has no regard for them. Simon has no regard for them at all. Simon at a time dealing with team justice than autopilot media platform. They know this. They can't.
Correct. We want Simon meeting. We want Simon him to a meeting because of that matter. Remember?
Exactly. He didn't deny it.
Yeah.
That whenever he calls, he answers. I heard that Team Justice now has traveled overseas. That was the guy that was down there in Zoo that was looking for help. He has traveled overseas and very close to Simon. So the point now is this: the autopilot media platform. Couldn't they have reserved those of you that labored? You know why they use Raphael Ajeres? It's like it's a little more intelligent than you people. It's a little more vocal. And it's Simon Evans Sachet man. All of you there, you are content with working and collecting money from your TV, YouTube program. Collect money. All of you there, all your knowledge. At least one of you should be the chief investigative officer that is good in security and secret service. They didn't appoint you. They didn't appoint you. I hope they will. I'm advocating for you now. Then the other one too, who is screaming.
In fact, Pastor, some people who were just recently interviewed on this Biafra recruitment were even added. You know, this recent Biafra recruitment program.
Exactly.
They were added. And this Wafi and Co were not, none of them.
So why did information, Ruby Nnamdi has nothing to do with information. I think she's a nurse or something like that.
Yes.
Yes. And so in information, we had Aparawa. He's been there in information for a long time. Let me not talk of 247 because he may not know how to represent himself in the public. You know, that one is a mental case. So let's look at Aparawa. It was not considered. So I'm trying to advocate for him. You say tomorrow, who told you to advocate for me? Leave me alone. So at least if they were bringing you and Raphael or maybe Chief Survivor speaks good English and he's very good in making presentation. So he was looked down upon. Nothing. So in the cabinet which they form, one person has two offices and you are there. So how is it representing your interest as Biafran people? If not does the inner caucus within the advisory board, the only outsider that was taken there is Raphael, who is the hatchet man. He came out and was insulting me. He should know that when he had this problem with Simon, I never spoke against him for one day. I was just praying for him that his eyes should be open. Let him come back. And when he come back, we welcomed him. With his own man that he raised him. So if you look at the whole situation, Nnamdi Kanu'S life being in danger is a program Simon is doing to effectively and squarely establish himself on the throne of the Biafran struggle as the main leader. Because if anything happened to Nnamdi Kanu now, Simon Ekpa will no longer answer Prime Minister. He will be the new leader of the Biafran struggle.
Sure.
And there, working with him, is Ngozi Oruagbeze. A man like Pastor Victor Adim, who has personally told me his story, what he has labored in the faith and ministry, how people have hurt him. Pastor Adim could just, what is he looking for? What is Adim looking for? What can Ngozi Oruagbeze give you? You are a man of God who has said, Ngozi Oruagbeze is a very wicked unbeliever. She wanted to introduce LGBTQ in our constitution. We refused.
She wanted child abortion. 12-year-old children having an abortion.
12-year-old children having abortion. She wanted it embedded in the constitution. We said, no, we have a culture. We fear God. We must establish something that will help our nation in the future. Victor, when Simon said that he does not know the think tank group, which you are a member, did you find it funny? Or you decided to swallow it so that you remain relevant? You sold your birthright. You sold your honor because you wanted to be relevant with Simon Ekpa. It's a shame. It will not last. You know it will not last. You know people are, you are moving. The Bible says in the book of, Proverbs, it said, my son, do not walk with iniquitous people in the same crowd. Come out from them. You are making a terrible mistake. You bring damage to your reputation and ministry. People are abusing me, causing me that my ministry, I'm still intact. I'm serving God. If I was fake, I wouldn't be bold to be coming out like this. Sure. I would have hidden my face in shame. I would have tried a way to turn around and come. I know very well that I'm saying the truth. You, Kelechi, knows I'm saying the truth. People who have true conscience know we're saying the truth. When Simon Ekpa goes on air to call us idiots, criminals, that is very disrespectful. We have not done anything to warrant that. Rather, we're trying to avoid a situation where Biafran project could go into a precipice, which someone is trying to lead them to. And he came out and looked at me and said, idiot, criminal, envious of who? Ngozi Oruagbeze. Why should I be envious of? Is she married? I'm married. I have a wife. Ngozi Oruagbeze is not as pretty as my wife. So I don't know where I should be. She worked with me in the platform. She did not showcase or exhibit any kind of intelligence to that. What is it that I should be, or you, or Prince, or Ada should collectively be envious of Ngozi? It's a laugh. Oh my God. It's a big laugh. And Simon Ekpa could come out and say, when people know something more than you, you're just envious. It's a very careless way of talking.
Oh my.
It's a very careless way of talking. It shows you that I begin to doubt the stability of Simon's mentality, because you're seeing something wrong and you are. I even gave him a window, because this time that window has closed. I told him, even if you have committed yourself to this woman, and that if she should open up, it will be a disgrace to you in Biafra. Damn her. Call your brethren together and say, you're sorry. You missed it here. Let's fix things up. And we will tell her, yes, it's a mistake. And then he has repented. Bro, move on. You have to leave us. And we build something that will be good for Biafrans. He refused. And somebody will come and be telling me that I should try and relate to Simon Ekpa. And I ask him, did you ever call Simon? I've asked somebody that question before. They have not. You have the temerity to come and start advising me because you want to be relevant. You will not be, because God will not allow you to be relevant. You people know that Simon is going nowhere. Simon is working against the project of Biafra. Simon is working against God's will for Biafra right now. It is not something personal. No. I don't attack Simon as a person. No, it is his mode of operation. What he's operating on is wrong. It's contrary. It is wrong. It is selfish. It is contrary to the Biafran spirit. It's a mockery of the whole process and puts Nnamdi Kanu's life in jeopardy, because as he's testing the mindset of Biafrans now. If Biafrans hear that Nnamdi Kanu's life is in danger, he's vomiting, and they don't react, it means that Biafrans have shifted their allegiance so he can die. And that is the wickedness we as Biafran people have. But when Obi came, we all left Nnamdi Kanu and followed Obi. And when we're telling them, they refused. What happened? They went and failed upon all their wisdom. Hey, don't worry. If he wins, who knows? You come and at least let us have presidency. I told him that Obi shall never ascend that throne. He will not. Not because he's not qualified in terms of, in comparison with Atiku or Tinubu, no. Because Obi came up to truncate the Biafran project, which is a program that God has for his people. Obi's wisdom cannot supersede that of God. That is why I look at Chimamanda's presentation and I say it is bullshit in cinema. Because all the time they raped Igbo women and girls, Chimamanda never for once opened her mouth to speak. She didn't care about them until Obi lost the election. And then Chimamanda came out and began to address Biden. That address is nonsense. Those people, there was one lady that came out the other day on TV. Some of our people are so daft, stupid, unreasonable, and foolish. They just keep talking. They just keep talking. And when you go and meet them, some of them are Christians. Just like the young man who met me today, he says he's a believer. That he's talking as a believer. I told him, don't go to the Holy Ghost area. If you do that, you have already missed it. Because there are two things as a child of God. Either you pray for God to give you revelation of what is happening, or number two, make diligent search and find out from both parties what is wrong, and use your God-given ability as a man in the spirit to discern and speak the truth. For you to sit down, you are not aware of what is going on, but you just come to make peace. That your de-escalation is escalating the whole situation, because you are insulting the intelligence of the other person. You cannot slap a child and tell him not to cry. You don't push a man and tell him, no, don't fall here, fall here. You don't. And when I finished telling him, he said, okay, goodbye, good night, good night. I don't even want to communicate. I'm not interested in such people. Because if you cannot stand for... Look, I'm unfriending. When I go, I see names of those I know who are talking nonsense. I unfriend them. From my Facebook account, I'm unfriending them. Those who are my friends, some of them are married women, I'm unfriending them. Some of them are single guys, I'm unfriending them. Some of them are young men, I'm unfriending them. Some of them are married men. People whom I've known for some time. We have exchanged conversation on Messenger. I'm unfriending them because of what they're saying. Because these people don't use their brains. They don't want to sit down and think. They don't want to critically analyze things in their mind and weigh it and know the truth. Go to the crux of the matter and find out that you were given an information of a likely mole in our midst. Do something, please. We are going to help you. Instead of, if at best, ignore it and continue what you're doing. You decided to come out to insult all of us. No Biafran got up and asked you, why would you come and be insulting people? Like, what did they do? None of them have asked you what happened. You have not come out to defend the insult and the accusation up to today. Because you know they didn't do anything. And those stupid people who are following you blindly just say, no, you give us Biafra. So even if they insult you, swallow it. No. I've taken years to build my reputation as a man of God and as a father. I've been on social media for years. I've built a reputation. I don't think Simon Ekpa's wife is still with him. Because if he is, the wife will not support him insulting grown-up women and men who have done nothing on Facebook. I don't come out and begin to insult people. So I have grown-up children. Simon's son is just maybe 12 years old. I have grown-up boys. My sons are men, full-blown men. You don't come and insult me. Even though Simon Ekpa, he's not too sure that if you come into a physical combat, he will beat me. I'm not too sure. Forget about that thing. When you use anabolic steroids to help people, that's not my own. I'm naturally physically strong. I do strong job. I do push-ups, 60 push-ups in 1 minute. One push-up per second. I do it. So it's not all this nonsense that he's doing and talking trash. When you come to Facebook and begin to show where you are in the gym and you do this, you drink alcohol, you put your shrine, where you put demons and all those people, whether Mami Water or Dragon or bullshit, and all those things. And you say, if you get Holy Ghost, you come and start drinking alcohol, you're dancing. Or Azuka that is dancing with the husband, kissing her. This is an evidence that in Azuka's marriage there is problem.
Sure.
You can't simply come and be kissing my wife. What am I trying to show you? That I'm in good terms with my wife? That is me for my house. What am I coming to Facebook to try to show you? So if you're against me, like now they're talking against me and start kissing my wife on Facebook. That it was what the Faith Ogala did. All that nonsense they were doing.
That's even an evidence that you are even doing the wrong thing in the first place.
Exactly, it's an evidence you're doing the wrong thing. and you're trying to cover up.
Yes.
You're trying to cover up. Because if you are in good terms with your wife, a self-respecting man or woman cannot. I mean, it's too petty.
Sure.
For me to come out on Facebook and begin to dance with my wife and you hold her and kiss her, what am I trying to show? We have been accused of misappropriation of funds, embezzling funds. You've not cleared yourself up to tomorrow. What Simon told Biafrans is that Azuka, it's always Simon that will make the announcement. Whether Biafran Republic government in exile, election in them, Igbo Union, the Peace Move Committee, whatever, it's always Simon. Even Azuka. Azuka will not be allowed to defend herself.
Yes.
Always someone that will come out and speak.
Will come out, yes. He was the spokesperson for the Biafra government in exile that he was telling us about, that he never showed us.
Exactly.
He was talking about that same Biafra government in exile. He came up to tell us and castigated Biafra government in exile, Republic of Biafra government in exile, and was telling us about a Biafra government in exile that he will show to the Biafrans, not knowing that he was preparing for himself and his team.
Preparing for himself because he never showed them, and Biafrans don't care to ask.
Yes. So, Pastor, you've said a lot.
We are alerting Biafrans.
Yes, that's
there
it.
Is a ploy because we have followed the sequence, the way the thing has happened in sequence. You know where he's coming from. All the information that they gave, preparing your minds to see him as the anointed Savior. And we are reaching the point, having declared himself Prime Minister, the next thing now is the leader. If Onyendu is no more, you people will say, well, he had already prophesied. So Simon will look unto you to lead us. And effectively, they have taken Onyendu's life away. You people don't know in your ignorance. And that servant of God who was sent to liberate Biafra, because of your ignorance, you refused to look deep into it, and he died, and Simon took over. God will judge you people. He says that how often have I raised my prophets early in the morning to warn you, and you have killed them. Some of them you have slain, just like you killed my servant Antipas between the porch and the altar. That your sin has come into the memory. I am telling you, dear friends who are supporting Simon Ekpa, if anything, listen to me, it's not just Simon Ekpa. If anything happens to Onyendu, you people are responsible. God knows that his blood cannot be in our hands. That was why Kelechi had this thing. And he did not allow greed to dictate his mind and reasoning to join them. If Kelechi had joined them, today their affairs will not appear for currency. And all of us will know. But since God delivered him and he told us and we were delivered, God does not want our hands to be stained in the blood of anybody. So if anything happens to Onyendu, you Biafrans that are supporting Simon Ekpa, his blood shall be in your hands, and the punishment shall be in your generations. Because the Jews told Pilate, let the blood of Jesus Christ whom they kill be on them and until their children.
Yes.
It shall follow you. My hands are clean. I have spoken my own. We have ideas on what you will do. We are setting up templates that will help Biafra progress. We are running an all-inclusive system that accommodates every Biafran. Every Biafran matters. Every Biafran is important. Every Biafran makes contribution as a matter of responsibility and commitment. So that when you come to Biafra, you have a say. Those of you who are supporting Simon, you don't even have a say. If you say anything that Simon doesn't like, you're removed. They'll just you're gone. You're gone. We are working a system whereby you have a right to speak. Even if you speak nonsense, after talking, people around will tell you, this thing you said there is not right. It's not me or Kelechi or anybody. No. This thing you said there is not. People who answer will answer you and tell you that you're wrong. And prove you are wrong. And you're wrong. With facts and evidences. This one, which Ngozi is running towards Ken Nachuku to go and begin to harass him. These are points that they are under pressure. They know we are saying the truth. People who say they are Christians, they are pastors, they have decided just to be relevant to be with Simon. They are willing to sell their faith. They are willing to sell their faith. They can't speak the truth. They can't identify with God. So if anything happens to Onyendu, you people that support Simon, you are to blame. I'm not here to threaten the Nigerian government, because from what we have heard and understood, the people still responsible for Onyendu being held in detention are Igbos. Igbo politicians. And of late, we are having DOS and then Simon Ekpa's angle, which he wants to effectively take control of the soldiers on ground. No longer ESN. It is the one which he has formed. They formed the nucleus. The very money which Biafrans contributed for ESN was used to organize members of ESN that they brought out that joined them. They organized a new government, a new army. They begin to fight. And who is their commander in charge? Simon Ekpa. You heard Butuzo confess to him that is their Ogapatapata. That is it. So, Biafrans, our hands are clean. Anything that happens to Onyendu, we shall hold you people responsible. We'll blame you. You heard Onyendu is vomiting. You are not talking. You are still talking about headquarters. Onyendu is vomiting. All the money that was contributed. Why is it that we don't have a lawyer? Why is it that IPOB Autopilot don't have a lawyer? How much money have we contributed so far? Why is it that we don't have a lawyer for Onyendu? What are we talking about today? Why don't you ask that question? Why is there no lawyer for Onyendu Nnamdi? Nobody they talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor. You have said a lot. We'll keep sensitizing Biafrans. We'll keep making them understand. We'll keep sensitizing the world. Mazi Nnamdi is very dear to us, very, very important to us, and we will never allow any evil to befall him. Anybody who is plotting evil against Mazi Nnamdi will fall.
Amen. Amen. He said,
yes, that's
Amen.
What we're agreeing.
Amen.
So Biafrans understand that all these shenanigans and plot is just to remove your mind from Mazi Nnamdi, so that to test also to see how you're going to respond if anything happens to him, which we know nothing will happen to him. We know Chukokike will protect him, but you must be.
Nothing will happen to God. Will keep him.
Nothing at all. But you Biafrans must be very sensitive and very sensible, because the rate at which some of you are going, you actually are not looking for Biafra. You are actually just destroying yourselves. And we're telling you this. You have to be very, very sensitive and sensible. You have to be sensitive to the affairs, the actions, and the things happening around you, and then sensible to facts. So thank you so much, Pastor. We appreciate you so much. You have said a lot, and you have just educated the people. And of course, I know the people will go home and think. Please share this broadcast. Let it go far and wide. Let the people listen to this. Mazi Nnamdi is dear to us. Nigeria government and those people who are working against Nnamdi by supporting Simon's criminality, we're going to hold you responsible for anything that happens. We're going to hold you. So thank you so much, all. We appreciate you. And we know that tomorrow also, on Sunday, we're going to be having Twitter Space by 4 p.m. Biafra time, Twitter Space, and we're going to be talking about the betrayal, chronicles of the betrayal of Mazi Nnamdi. We're going to be talking about that, the chronicles of the betrayal of Mazi Nnamdi, and so that you guys will begin to know how these things happened, and we'll begin to point to you.
Information, please. Information, please.
Yes.
One essay is saying that Mazi Kelechi, you, Pastor Emeka, and Prince should start doing something differently to release MNK than attacking Simon. Said the more you attack him, the more he gains popularity. What are you doing? What is your own contribution, Eze? For Simon to come into focus, he attacked DOS very well, because he was the one that has been attacking us. It is now time for us to pay attention to him. So you should come out.
And because the DOS was in error.
Yes, they were in error. He attacked them. So and now Simon is in error. We are telling you.
In error.
Yes. So, Mazi Eze, I want you to be bold enough. What can you also contribute? Come to the platform. Come and bring your own idea. Don't sit there and expect Emeka and Kelechi and Prince to do it for you. Come and make your own contribution. Come and bring your own idea. Don't be like docile Biafrans. Come up.
Yes.
We need people.
You can call. You want to join the group, you are free.
Exactly.
Come in and join. Because we are joining hands to bring about sanity to this thing.
Yes.
To restore
Biafran. Bring your own. Don't stay there and be telling us you people should. Where are you? Are you at the basement? Are you underground? Are you in the grave? Stand up, men, and be counted. We need ideas. Come if you have your own.
Yes.
It's not that we don't have ideas. It's all inclusive.
That's it.
You must be a stakeholder. You must commit yourself to the Biafran cause. Yes. Otherwise, please, we don't need such messages. You're not helping matters.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Biafrans, we'll see you tomorrow. And of course, Sunday, we have our Twitter space. Join us 4 p.m. Biafra time. We shall be talking extensively. We are working on the ground. If you want to be part of it, you are free to come and join us and do the work. It's our work. It's not some people's work. That is why people are missing it, because you always think it's one person or somebody should be doing it somewhere. So all of you will rush and say, okay, Simon.
This is a man is a nonsense man. He doesn't have brains. I don't like such people. Yeah, he shouldn't be appearing in a program like this. He's talking trash. These are the people who you see them by the corner and say they want peace. They're trying to make peace. They will never. He wouldn't put his money. Udonia will not put a dime. He will not say anything. He's waiting for people to do it for him. Or when you make a mistake. Look at him saying that Simon Mepame will have weaknesses. What are you doing concerning weakness? Are you a man?
Weaknesses? Which weaknesses?
Don't you know you have to build a legacy for your own children? Would you remain by the side forever? What if I say I'm not fighting again? I've given you enough information. Sit there and let them come and take you away. I'm in America here with my children. You want to stay there and be there.
It is not about weaknesses. It's not about wickedness. It's about intentional acts. Intentional, deliberate acts to destroy what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has built over time. So it is not weakness. Somebody has weaknesses. This is not about weakness.
One idiot, his name is Justin. He says, Stone Man. Let me read it to you.
I don't know why I'm not seeing some of these messages. It's like just like what this person was telling me. Kanu'S view media say I should block some people. I'm not seeing those messages. Maybe I've blocked them before, so they are not appearing on. But people are seeing them, but I'm not seeing them here.
Okay, maybe I'm seeing them in my own.
Yes, I blocked them wrongly because I didn't block them on YouTube. I blocked them on Restream. So
somebody said, "Sorry, waiting the Justin Love this says Stone Man himself. You don't block well now. You just die small well with pain."
That's why he's an idiot.
That's a fool. Idiot. If you have the opportunity I have in life, your life will never be the same again forever and ever.
Of course.
So we know how. You think it's easy to come to America?
You know, when they cannot justify their wrongs, and they see that you have gotten them from all corners.
Yes.
The result
He's agreeing that Simon has weaknesses. What is he doing to fix it? They are not.
Yes.
The same thing with Adam Yanda. Look at the name somebody's answering. It could be an Igbo man, Adam Yanda.
That's Adam Yanda. Yeah, I think I saw him and I blocked him. I don't know
if I'm fake and you are the correct person, come out now and speak. Defend Simon Ekpa. Advance the Biafran. This Yanda man doesn't contribute a dime. What have you contributed in this? I have contributed money in the Biafran struggle. I've contributed my comments. I've put my face on the line. I've contributed my time when I'm supposed to be doing business.
So you are still seeing the Ayanda. I'm not seeing him here because I blocked him. I don't know why when I block, people still see them, but I don't see them. I don't know. Maybe I'm blocking them wrongly because
no. Whatever happens, it doesn't matter. No, It doesn't matter. Then one called Onyoma Nwajaka. He says criminals. These are illiterates, lunatics, according to Prince. Lunatics.
I'm not even saying it also.
No, you.
That's why media code Kanu'S view media is telling me to block them, but I'm not seeing any of them to block. So, however it is, let's just those of you who are seeing them, don't let them get on your nerves. They are just know that they are suffering from chicken syndrome. They're suffering from chicken syndrome. That's why. They will go with all those narratives. That's what they do. Simon and Co send them whenever they see they're waiting for us to come to online. Once we come online, they'll just jump on. Eat frogs. They'll start doing. I was waiting for this Linda I because she said something. Listen, she was telling you to listen. So I was waiting for what she wants to say by saying she said, "We can listen." She now come. Do you have support? Do you ever support Simon when he was kidnapping his people? Yes or no? Can you imagine? People are very funny.
Chinedu Okonkwo said, Emeka, you are a confirmed criminal. Chinedu, do you know that the American government knows me? I think I have that document here. They wrote a document crediting me as a man that is honest, straightforward, who gives his information without embellishments.
You know, when criminals...
You can't have credibility in America. Bola Tinubu doesn't have a credibility in America. The same thing with Atiku. I have it. So if I'm a confirmed criminal, what criminality have I done? I can't be staying here. Eh? You are a prime minister of a country. Your head office is in America while you are living in Finland. So whenever I want to have meeting, you fly over to America, have meeting. Idiots like Chinedu Kongo who don't have brains. Okay, right. Casey, thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Pastor. We appreciate you. Biafrans, we know that those of you who are truthful, you are going to continue to be on that path. We are going to get this thing together. We're going to work together, and we're going to get our freedom. Mazi and Nnamdi will be freed by God's grace. Thank you all. We appreciate you. Still, we'll see you again. We might come up tomorrow again, and because it's important we begin to talk about this Mazi and Nnamdi's issue critically, because we have seen the whole deceit. Those of you who have not listened from the beginning, go to the beginning. You'll get the message. Very full and very, 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 very potent message for your soul and for your spirit to understand what we're doing. Thank you so much, Pastor. Thank you so much. After broadcasting, you are still here.
Yes,
all of that.
Yes,
so I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Biafrans, keep fit, stay fit, believe and trust God. Stay with Mazi Nnamdi. That is the only person who have proven that he is sincere. He is the only sincere person who have proven by the test of time. He has proven that he's sincere. Thank you so much, all. We appreciate you. God bless you. Very good. Good night. Good day. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Wherever you are. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yes.
God bless you. God bless our sister.